Now, listen, honey, not a day goes by without me talking about the female rap girlies. Now, I told you before that since the Super Freaky Girl remix by Nicki Minaj and these other girls dropped, it has been chaos in the hip hop streets, okay? It seems like working with Cardi B is indirectly pledging allegiance to her, and working Nicki Minaj is like pledging allegiance to Nicki Minaj. And it seems because of that, one of the two will always feel some type of way about a person who works with the other. Now, listen, honey, honestly, I thought that in 2022 we could be able to put this behind us and, the two of them would just focus on their music and their career, but it has been chaos since. The other time it was Akbar V and Cardi B getting into it, and this time it's, of course, JT and Cardi B getting into it. Now, honestly, with this whole entire situation, I was shocked because JT really doesn't bother anyone. She's not one to be anyone's puppet. She speaks her mind. She's unlike Akbar, honestly. She's not the one to just, aimlessly just create beef with someone. That's out of character for JT. She's not problematic in that regard. She minds her business, gets a bag, dates her man, and writes her raps. That's just JT for me. So when this happened, I have to be honest with you, I was quite shocked. So it all started with a fan who was actually accusing JT of being jealous of Glorilla, and JT was like, enough is enough. You know what? I'm not jealous of anyone. Congratulations to her. And people felt like they were she was shading Cardi B because she only congratulated Glow, and she was like, whoa, for Glow this was her first number one. Cardi has had many, and I've always congratulated her. So I wasn't trying to throw shade. To which Cardi B decided to sub her, okay? I don't care what you guys say, even if you say that she didn't directly take anyone. Both you and I, whether you're Bardigang, Bob, JT's fan, you definitely know that old girl was targeting JT. She tweeted and said, lip dog. And in this regard, she definitely was talking about JT. And if you know JT and if you have followed JT, you know that she's not the one to sub anyone. She will come directly at you. She will at you. She doesn't hesitate to do that. Because honestly, I feel like she comes from a genuine point. She's not the one to, mince her words and go round and round and do the whole subbing thing. She will come directly at you. So, yeah, which JT was like, winner dog. And I guess the two of them decided to take it to their DMs and they were talking. And then Cardi B came back to Twitter basically talking smack shit. And JT was like, okay, not on my watch. And then she went and called Cardi B out for basically trying to put on a show for the people when in the DM they had seemingly, squashed anything that was actually going on between the two of them. And so she basically went back to Twitter like, who are you putting a show for? Are you doing all this to please people on the tier when like in the DMs were squashing, we're talking about this whole thing, and they exchanged words, and then Cardi B said go fetch to JT, and then she said something about a yellow overall wearing something, basically relating to JT, the fact that JT was once in jail, and JT was not having it, okay? She just wasn't having it, okay? She basically called Cardi B out and was like, yo, how about you go fetch talent, Cardi B, and all that. And yeah, JT really read the filth out of Cardi B. And then what I found interesting is the fact that Jason Lee decided to insert himself in this whole feud and somehow decided to turn it into like a Nicki Minaj problem. And Nicki Minaj didn't say anything about this whole thing, basically blaming Cardi and JT going back and forth on Nicki Minaj, which for me it doesn't even make sense. I do get that Jason Lee doesn't like Nicki Minaj and he's actually friends with Cardi B, but why he inserted himself in that situation, calling Nicki old. And I'm actually surprised because Jason is actually older than Nicki Minaj, but he keeps on calling her old, which in my opinion is not so smart. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's a bit slow to call somebody who you're older than old. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, basically that's what happened. And then after he said he read JT and said some trash about JT, then decided to come and say, oh, I will make peace between the two of you. And honestly, I think they were scared of what JT would do or would say about Cardi B, because Jason Lee actually brought in JT's men in this whole situation, like, oh, we don't post about your men, we've got so much dirt on your men, and that's just below the belt even for Jason Lee, honestly. And that's how it ended, T lovers. And then I found it weird weird that Nicki Minaj then decided to put JT on her profile, and then Cardi B took Remy Ma's picture and put it on her profile, and I'm like, oh my God, the obsession is just too much on both ends. Not even on both ends, on one end, honestly. And I'm like, who does that? Because clearly, and the funny thing, you're still going to see people defending the villain here is going to be turned into a victim, and so for some reason JT is going to be turned into the victim, when honestly, in my own opinion, in this situation, she wasn't bothering anyone. She was minding her business, honestly. So do hop into the comment section and let me know what you think about this whole situation. And then Cardi B also went ahead to post Kenneth Perry's ex-girlfriend. And I'm like, oh my God. And people were saying that yesterday Nicki Minaj was actually on live with Jade, who is Offset's ex, or I don't know. And I guess her posting Kenneth Perry's ex-girlfriend was her being shady, and I'm like, oh my God, are we in high school? Do hop into the comment section, tea lovers, and let me know what you think about this whole mess. Honestly, I am over it, okay? And clearly we can see who's the bitter one, okay? We can see who feels some type of way about anyone who doesn't dislike Nicki Minaj as she does. Do you know what I'm saying? Each time somebody likes Nicki Minaj, it's a problem with her. And I find that really immature, if you ask me. But that's just my opinion. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next one.